So I genuinely believed that this thing here was going to hurt my desire to keep collecting games from my Nintendo 64. Oh boy, was I wrong. I'm DK May, and this is So I Played the SummerCart64. Okay, yeah, so what I was worried about was I've now got this cart, and I can load all of the games onto here, so why would I want a physical copy? Well, truth is for me, I really want the physical copies of the games, and they're going on a shelf back there. You can see them. I believe I'm pointing at them. Hope I am. But I'm building up that collection of the list of games that I have, and that list is kind of my goal. Now, once I get that list filled out, maybe I'll go further, but this will give me an opportunity to try those games. Are these things that I genuinely want, something that I'm going to want to play? Because everything in my list is something that I want to play and I intend to play. But this gives me the option to try some of those other games out. But I was, like I said, legitimately concerned. And I recently played through Majora's Mask, and I talked about it. And the way that I did it initially was on my GameCube copy with the Master or whatever, the Collector's Edition set on the GameCube. And there was a lot of people talking about how, oh, it's way better on the N64. And I couldn't find a copy. And you know what? Before I even talk about how I played partially of the way through Majora's Mask on the SummerCart64, what was the big thing here was there were some ROM hacks that I wanted to play, and that's the real reason that I got one. I got this one off AliExpress, and the price has gone up since I got it. It's actually approaching the price of the Kaiko version that's on Amazon, which I'll link down in the description with my affiliate link. But I wanted to play a lot of these ROM hacks, specifically the Perfect Dark Performance version as a Perfect Dark high performance, and believe me, that was a huge game changer. I've been enjoying playing Perfect Dark ever since with decent performance, and I know I could play it on the Xbox and get better, but I like it on the N64. So I've been playing that, and I also wanted to play Legend of Zelda: The Missing Link after I finished Ocarina of Time and spent some time in Majora's Mask. So I was like, there's other games in here. So I got that, and this gives me that's the real crux here, is it gives me the ability to play these ROM hacks and different versions of games and extend the life of my Nintendo 64 outside of the games that ship for it. In fact, one of the games I played recently was Junk Runner 64. It's a pretty cool game, super neat, and really excited to see this new M64 games, if that releases with some of these indie games and small studio games that are working on. But there was that. And one of the things that I did was all of the physical games that I already had, I loaded a copy of the ROM on here. So now I don't have to swap out the cartridge that's on the shelf. So those get to stay there nice and clean, and this will get taken out periodically from my console to pop out the SD card, make a change or two, whatever. But for the most part, it stays in there. And the games that I want to collect and preserve and keep in great shape for years on end, as well as the lifespan of my Nintendo 64, at least the pins, I don't know how long those things are supposed to last, but when you're only taking this in and out, not daily, like I would have been otherwise, depending on what games I wanted to play, that's a big one. So that was there. Definitely easier on my hardware, less swapping. I get opportunity to play some games. Like right now, so here, I'll show you. Like I still got a copy of Majora's Mask that allowed me to take my time and find a copy that's in, here, if I can get that up close, it'll focus on there. It's in fantastic shape. There's, now there is, let's see, one of the tabs on the bottom was broken, but other than that, there's no cracks. It's not really scratched up. It's a phenomenal copy, and I got it at a really good price. I actually got it for about $60, and every copy that I found, it's the lenticular one, so it's nice and shiny. All the other copies that I found were very expensive, and that gave me the ability to slow down, not suffer too much from FOMO, because I really, really wanted a copy of this game, and I was able to look for a really good copy of it. Now, the problem with that game is I've got a partial finished save file on here, but I started over. That's part of the fun of this. I didn't, this wasn't to replace the real thing. This was supplementary. Let's see, what else did I get out of this? Well, I got to play Resident Evil 2. And I can't wait to get a copy of that game to put on the shelf because the N64 version of Resident Evil 2 is super cool. And getting to find out that the expansion pack is not really good over here on my RetroTink. On my I didn't like it switching the resolutions. Either way, so lets me organize my games, less strain on my hardware because I can get copies of my games on here. And the other one, the unexpected part that I had no idea, because I didn't research this a whole lot other than knowing that it's a ROM card, it's this or the EverDrive, and my reset button is broken on this one, and you need the reset button to save on the EverDrive, so big reason I went with this. I didn't realize it did emulation. So I knew it did 64DD emulation, and quite frankly, F-Zero X, GX, whatever. The F-Zero game was the only one on that whole list that was even remotely interesting to me. Not too terribly concerned about that, but what I didn't expect was the NES emulator to be so good. In fact, what I've done is the same thing as my N64 catalog, is I've loaded all of my Nintendo games onto the SummerCart64, and I just play them that way. Whether it's on the CRT or on my QLED TV with the RetroTink. Either way, that's how I play my Nintendo games now. So my old original NES that I got when I was 4 or 5 years old is now, yep, it's safely stored in a box that's sealed with some silica packs in there to keep it dry. And then I'm going to probably put the games in a similar thing. So it's just keeping my games lifespan potentially even longer. But it gives me the ability to play the games whenever I feel like it. The Game Boy emulator, pretty cool. Might take you a little bit of work to get the save files working properly, but if you're running it through something like a RetroTink, you can get the LCD emulation on the screen to look almost like the Game Boy does. It's so much fun, and you don't have to worry about it warping and stuff. It's like perfectly. It's an QLED, OLED, LCD, whatever TV you play on. That thing's going to keep it perfectly fine. This one over here is going to warp it over a little bit. The Super Nintendo emulator left a lot to be desired. It's so hit or miss that it's mostly miss. I wouldn't even consider it for Super Nintendo emulation. So this thing basically gave me Game Boy games, NES games, and my N64 games on a single cartridge, which makes my life a little bit easier. I like I said, I was scared that this was going to impact me wanting to collect the games, but just like my modded PS2 with free McBoot and a hard drive, I'm still collecting physical copies of the games that I play on that, but I'm running them off the hard drive, keeping the game on the shelf. That way I've got copies of them. I like being able to do that. So, if you're a collector, or if you've been building out your collection and you've been looking at like the SummerCart64 and you're like, man, it might be worth picking it up. I'm definitely glad I did. And I'm going to get out of this video and I'm going to get back to playing a game. I don't know. If you had to pick between the two games behind me, which one do you pick? Castlevania or Doom 64? Or should I call it Castlevania 64? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.